I got married 2 months ago. My cold wife never let me touch her. Life passed as if we were just roommates. I really couldn't take it anymore. Mustering all my courage, I told my wife we should divorce. We've been married for so long. She didn't even let me touch her once. My friends all mocked me, saying I married a brother. She angrily retorted, "Then why don't you try touching me? If you don't try, how would you know?" The next moment, she threw a box of condoms at my face. I was completely stunned. From demanding a divorce to being provoked, the situation flipped in an instant. At that moment, I stared at the cup on the table, my fingertips tense. My voice sharp: "Divorce. We must divorce." The air suddenly fell silent. In the living room, only the ticking of the wall clock could be heard. The woman sitting across from me on the sofa looked up. Her cold eyes rested on me. She was my wife, Hannah Cole. We had been married for just 2 months. She was as cold as an iceberg. She didn't even let me touch her. We shared a bed but lived separate dreams. Every day aside from mealtimes, there was only silence. I had truly had enough. Why was her voice so calm? Yet it carried a faint tremble barely noticeable. I gave a bitter laugh, staring at her slender legs. My throat tightened. "We're not compatible. 2 months of marriage. You don't even let me touch you. Do you treat me like I'm invisible?" She paused for a moment. A glimmer seemed to flicker in her eyes. A moment later, she pursed her lips, her voice cold. "Then why don't you try touching me? If you don't try, how would you know?" I was stunned, thinking she was joking. But the next second, she suddenly threw something at me. The box hit me square in the face. I looked down. It was a brand new box of condoms. My head buzzed instantly. Blood rushed to my brain. Her eyes were red. Tears glistened at the corners. But her tone was defiant, almost provocative. "Then why don't you try touching me? Do you dare?" I was completely frozen. She was supposed to be cold and distant. Why was she suddenly so provocative? In that moment, my heart was a tangled mess. On one hand, my anger hadn't subsided. On the other, she had thrown my mind into chaos. I stared at her throat, my voice hoarse. "Hannah Cole, don't play games with me." She took off her glasses and set them on the table. Her long hair cascaded over her shoulders. Her aura shifted from a cold professor to a fragile, slightly disheveled beauty. "I'm not playing. If you think we're not compatible, then prove it." My heart raced, my breathing erratic. She was pushing me. One side was her icy, untouchable demeanor. The other was her threatened eyes. I suddenly realized I had never truly understood her. She was clearly as cold as ice, yet she could say such things. The tension hung in the air for a few seconds. She bit her lip, turned her head away, no longer looking at me. "If you want a divorce, I won't stop you. But don't put all the blame on me. You never tried, and yet you say we're not compatible." Her voice was low, carrying a hint of grievance. My heart tightened. This was not the conversation I had imagined. I thought she'd coldly nod and say, "Do as you wish." But she didn't. Her eyes even reddened. I furrowed my brows tightly, my heart a tangled mess. "Hannah, what are you doing?" She sniffed, pushed the box of condoms toward me. "Didn't you complain?" My throat went dry. The air became thick with ambiguity, but I stayed still. 2 months of marriage. For the first time, I felt like an outsider. What was this woman thinking? This cold, refined woman. Her long hair reaching her waist. Her legs longer than my life itself. Back in school, she was the untouchable flower. Now she was still the ice goddess in her students' eyes. But she was my wife. My legally wedded wife. My true wife in every sense. Yet for 2 months, she refused intimacy. Refused closeness. As if drawing a line between us. I thought she didn't care about this marriage. But now the tears in her eyes completely overturned my understanding. I opened my mouth, my voice hoarse. "Hannah, what do you really want?" She stared at me, her voice trembling but stubborn. "I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm not unwilling, it's just." She bit her lip, stopping herself. My heart ached. She wasn't unwilling. Then why had she been so cold for 2 months? I was momentarily speechless. The room filled only with the sound of breathing. The atmosphere grew strange, ambiguous and stifling. I looked down at the box of condoms on the table. My fingers trembled slightly. Suddenly, everything felt absurd. From demanding a divorce to being challenged to try. In one evening, my life had turned upside down. I snapped my head up looking into her eyes. Hannah Cole, you said it, so don't regret it. Her body trembled slightly. Her cheeks flushed, but she said nothing. In that moment, I saw complex emotions in her eyes. Fear, hesitation, and a faint trace of anticipation hard to detect. My heart stirred, staring into her tearful eyes. My mind was a mess. I was the one who demanded a divorce. How did she end up cornering me? After saying that, she fell silent, walked into the bedroom and closed the door. I sat on the sofa, staring at the box of condoms for 10 minutes. My mind in chaos, my heart even more so. Hat was this. I wanted a divorce, but her words had set my blood boiling. The next morning, I pushed open the bedroom door. She was already dressed, ready to leave. A fitted blouse, a skirt past her knees. Her long hair loose, cold, and refined, like a fairy untouched by the mortal world. But the stockings she wore made my eyes widen. My throat tightened as I tried to stay calm about last night. She coldly interrupted, "Don't mention it." That one sentence reignited the fire in me. I thought to myself, after provoking me, now she acts like nothing happened. Does she take me for a fool? She grabbed her bag, about to leave. I quickly reached out to stop her. "Hannah Cole, what's your deal?" She frowned, looking up at me. "What's my deal? Last night you provoked me. Now you brush it off with 'don't mention it.'" Her eyes flashed. Coldly she replied, "Then why don't you try?" My heart jolted. This woman was going to drive me insane. She said it and stepped past me to leave, leaving me standing there, my chest burning with frustration. She was deliberately toying with me. I gritted my teeth. An idea sparked in my mind. If she dared to provoke me, I'd see how far this would go. That evening, when she came home from work, I was waiting in the living room. She pushed the door open, paused slightly when she saw me. "Why didn't you turn on the light?" I didn't speak, just stared at her. She seemed a bit uneasy, set her bag down, took off her coat. Her blouse under the light revealed her figure faintly. The fire in my chest flared. I stood up abruptly, stepped toward her. She backed away. "What are you doing?" I gave a cold laugh. "Didn't you tell me to try?" Her eyes panicked as I cornered her against the wall. But I didn't say now. Then when I pressed, her breathing quickened. Her eyes reddened. But the next second, she suddenly pushed me away, rushed into the bedroom, and slammed the door. The door shut right in my face. I stood there stunned, my fists clenched, cracking. What was her deal? Clearly provoking me, then retreating, as if deliberately igniting me only to douse the flame. A wave of anger surged in my chest. I walked to the bedroom door, my voice low. "Hannah Cole, you're going too far." From inside came a muffled voice. "I didn't mean to." "Then what do you mean?" She didn't answer. The silence made me restless. I leaned against the door, taking a deep breath. This woman was truly driving me mad. On the third evening, she came home drunk. The faint smell of alcohol clung to her. Her cheeks flushed, her eyes dreamy. I frowned, helping her inside. "Why did you drink so much?" She looked up, her eyes hazy with liquor. "Colleague gathering." She gave a soft laugh, her voice gentle. "Didn't you say you wanted to try?" My whole body shook. She was really drunk. I stared at her. She leaned on the sofa, her legs slightly parted. Her skirt slid up, her fair skin dazzling under the light. My throat tightened. My heart pounded. This woman was going to be the death of me. I gritted my teeth, leaned closer. "Hannah Cole, are you sure?" She blinked, softly said no. I froze. "What?" Her eyes were hazy, but her hands pushed me away with force. "No, I am scared." Her voice was so soft it was almost inaudible, but it pierced straight through my heart. I froze, looking into her eyes. Suddenly I understood. She wasn't toying with me. She was truly torn. My heart felt like it had been stabbed. I stepped back, taking a deep breath. I suddenly felt pity for her. I poured her a glass of water. She took it, her hands trembling slightly. "Hannah Cole." I looked at her, my voice low. "What are you afraid of?" She bit her lip, didn't answer, just lowered her head. Tears fell onto the back of her hand. My heart tightened. For the first time, I felt this woman wasn't an arrogant iceberg. She was just locking herself in a shell. I didn't press her further. just gently pulled her into my arms. Her body trembled slightly, but she didn't push me away. Her voice soft, remember. I'm your husband. You don't need to be afraid. Her shoulders shook lightly. She leaned into my chest. The room became quiet. Only the sound of our breathing remained. My anger gradually faded, replaced by a complex mix of pity and something indescribable. That night we didn't go further. She slept in my arms, sleeping deeply. Well, I didn't sleep a wink. I stared at the ceiling, a thought forming in my mind. This woman. I had to understand her. On one hand, she was cold, pushing people away. On the other, she was fragile. A single word could bring her to tears. I couldn't see through her. But one thing I was sure of. This marriage, so close yet so far, I couldn't bear. The next morning, when she woke up, found herself curled in my arms. She instantly froze, jumped up immediately, her face flushed. I rubbed my temples instead of staying cold. Hannah Cole, we need to talk. She paused, pursed her lips. Talk about what? The marriage. I got straight to the point. 2 months of marriage. You're cold as ice. I feel like an outsider every day. Either we divorce or we set clear rules. She looked at me, her eyes wavering. I tossed down a sheet of paper and a pen. Write a contract. List everything a husband and wife should have. Everything clear. She froze, then gave a bitter laugh. You treat marriage like a business deal. I coldly replied, at least it's better than now. The air instantly grew tense. She was silent for a long time, suddenly picked up the pen. I was stunned. I didn't expect her to actually agree. She lowered her head, writing swiftly. A few minutes later, a marriage contract lay before me. I glanced at it, almost fainting from anger. Rule 1: kiss each other once a day. Rule 2: go on at least 1 date a week. Rule 3: no cold wars after arguments. Resolve it that same night. Rule 4: respect each other. No bringing up old matters. I glared. What is this? She calmly said, a contract. Didn't you tell me to write it? I wrote it. Any objections? I was instantly speechless. I wanted to set rules, but she turned the tables, writing a contract like it's a lover's code. Was she serious? She nodded lightly. Of course. I gritted my teeth. What about marital duties? For example, when it's time to touch, you have to touch. Her eyes flashed, but she deliberately kept her cold demeanor. Then you add it. I raised an eyebrow, a fire rising in my chest. Are you messing with me? I immediately grabbed the pen, added one more rule after hers. Rule 5: marital duties must be fulfilled. I tossed the pen down, looked at her, sign it. She paused, her face slightly flushed, but after a brief hesitation, she gritted her teeth and signed. Yet the contract was in effect. The next few days, the contract officially took effect. The first day, in the morning, as she was about to leave, she suddenly stopped, turned back to look at me. We're missing one thing. I blinked. What? She suddenly stood on her toes, quickly kissed my cheek, her lips soft, her breath sweet. I was stunned as she turned and left, leaving me standing there, my heart pounding. This contract seemed interesting. That evening, she dragged me to the supermarket. Rule 2 of the contract: 1 date a week. I raised an eyebrow. Going to the supermarket counts as a date, she said seriously. Of course. I was speechless, but watching her push the cart, carefully picking fruits and vegetables, my heart softened for no reason. This was the normal life of a married couple, wasn't it? But just as I was about to be touched by this warmth, she doused me with cold water. That night, I moved closer to her, trying to fulfill Rule 5: marital duties. But she suddenly dodged, her eyes wavering. Panicked, she pushed me away. The fire in me flared. Hannah Cole, are you messing with me? She bit her lip, her eyes red. Am not. I just. Her words cut off as tears spilled out. In that moment, my heart ached. My anger dissolved, replaced by deep doubt. What was she afraid of? Why did she retreat every time it came to the crucial moment? I stared at her, my voice low. Hannah Cole, tell me clearly. She shook her head, refusing to speak. Tears fell one by one. I felt restless, but couldn't press further. In the end, I just sighed, turned over, lying with my back to her. The room sank into deadly silence. But I knew clearly, this marriage had reached its breaking point. Divorce or continue? I didn't know. I only knew if I didn't find answers. I'd go mad sooner or later. The next day, I taped the contract to the bedroom wall. Circled Rule 5 in red Hanacol. It'll give you time. But don't forget this is your signature. She looked at the paper on the wall. Her face pale. Her fingers trembling slightly. I could feel her fear. But I knew I had to push her one step further. Because only then could our relationship break through this deadlock. This were over, our marriage had just begun. The marriage contract hung on the wall. Rule 5 circled in red like a thorn, lodged between me and Hannah Cole. Every day shed look at it once, her expression stiffening. But even so, she still wouldn't take a single step forward. Days passed in awkwardness. Until one day I got off work early to pick her up. She was in a large lecture hall, the ice goddess revered by the whole school. I parked at the campus gate, leaning against the car waiting for her. Before long, a crowd of students gathered, coming out of the lecture building. Young faces, eyes burning with energy. At the center was Hannah Cole, wearing a simple blouse and long skirt, her hair loosely tied, in high heels, cold yet restrained, like a white orchid untouched by the world. The students clearly surrounded her. A shy male student offered flowers. Professor Cole, "This is for you." She frowned, shook her head, refusing thank you. I don't accept gifts from students. I watched from afar, smirking to myself, see that. So many people chasing her. But she's my wife. But as I was about to approach, a slick-looking man blocked her path. Hannah, done with work. I'm heading to the parking lot too. Let's go together. He was in his 30s, overweight with a bulging belly, holding a box of imported chocolates. Hannah Cole coldly said no need. He persisted, shoving the chocolate box into her hands. Don't be so polite. You must be lonely alone. With me, isn't it better? The students around whispered. My eyes narrowed. Anger flared. Who was this guy? I strode forward. Hannah! My voice startled everyone. Hannah Cole looked up, slightly stunned. What are you doing here? I ignored her. Walked straight up. Pushed the chocolate box back into the guy's hands. My wife said she doesn't want it, so she doesn't. The crowd went silent. The students buzzed. Oh my God. Professor Cole is married. The fat guy's face darkened, staring at me, coldly asking, who are you? I gave a cold smile. Put my arm around Hannah Cole's shoulders, her husband. She trembled slightly, but didn't push me away. The fat guy's face turned green. He forced a smile. Hannah, you're married. Why didn't you tell us? I coldly cut him off. What's it to you? His eyes flashed with malice. His lips curled. So that's how it is. No wonder she's been so cold all these years. Turns out she's got someone backing her. The students gasped. My anger surged. My eyes sharp. What did you say? He gave a bitter laugh, leaned in and whispered, buddy, a word of advice. A woman like Hannah isn't for just anyone to handle. You think you've got a treasure. My eyes narrowed, rage boiling in my chest. But before I could explode, Hannah Cole suddenly spoke. Professor King, you've gone too far. Her voice was cold and sharp. Stop bothering me. The fat guy froze. I gave a cold laugh. My arm around her shoulders. I turned away. Heard that. My wife made it very clear. As we left the crowd, I felt her shoulders trembling. In the car, I let her go, coldly asking who was that guy. She lowered her head, her voice faint. A professor from the same department. Very annoying. I frowned. Annoying? That's harassment. She went silent. My anger flared. Hannah, what are you thinking? How long has that guy been harassing you? You just put up with it. She pursed her lips, not looking at me. The car was silent, suffocating. I slammed the steering wheel. You think you can handle everything alone? She flinched. I stared at her, gritting my teeth. Remember this. You're my wife. You're not fighting alone. After a long silence, she softly said thank you. My heart tightened. Her eyes no longer cold and distant, but carrying a faint trace of warmth. In that moment, my heart stirred powerfully. That night, she stood at the bedroom door, suddenly speaking. Ethan. I looked up. She was holding the marriage contract. About today. Thank you. Rule 5 in the contract. I'll try. I was stunned, my heart suddenly burning. She lowered her head, her ears red. Just give me some time. I stepped forward, holding the back of her neck. pulled her into my arms. Okay, my voice hoarse but firm. But remember this, Hannah Cole. You're my wife. Anyone who dares touch you, I'll be the first to make them pay. Her body trembled slightly. I felt her walls crumbling bit by bit. That night, she lowered her head, handing me the contract. Her voice soft, but more serious than ever. Rule 5 in the contract, I'll try. My heart burned. I almost pulled her closer, but she quickly pushed me away, turned back to the bedroom, leaving me standing there, my heart pounding, unable to calm down for a long time. This was the first time since our marriage she opened up. The next few days, her changes were clear. She no longer kept that cold face. Sometimes in the morning she'd hand me a cup of coffee. When I came home from work, she'd casually say, "You must be tired." Though her tone was still light, I could feel her trying to get closer to me. I swore to myself I'd seize this chance. Every night after 10, she sat at her desk. Under the lamp, her brows furrowed, a stack of exam papers piled before her. The red pen moved swiftly across the pages. I brought a glass of warm milk. Stepping closer. "Stop grading, take a break." She looked up, her expression tired. 30 more to go. "You'll sleep after finishing." I sighed, setting the milk down, stepped behind her, gently massaged her shoulders. She trembled slightly, but didn't push me away. My heart warmed. My hands gentler. "Why push yourself so hard? Student papers can't be delayed." Her voice carried a hint of exhaustion. I couldn't help but lean down, looking at her slender neck and loose hair. A familiar urge rose in me. "Hannah," I lowered my voice. "We're husband and wife, not roommates." She trembled. The pen on the paper drew a jagged red line. I seized the moment, moving closer, my breath brushing her ear. She suddenly looked up, her eyes panicked. "Ethan, you said you'd give me time." I looked into her eyes. Her cheeks flushed. She bit her lip, her breathing quick. After a moment of silence, she softly said, "It's not that I don't want to. I'm just scared." I froze, my heart tightening. She lowered her eyes, her voice barely audible before she stopped mid-sentence, her fingers gripping the edge of the desk. My heart ached, vaguely guessing the reason. Ex-boyfriend. Her shoulders trembled slightly, not denying it. The air seemed to freeze. My throat went dry. I slowly took the pen from her hand, turned her to face me. "Hannah," I looked into her tearful eyes, my voice low, "I'm not him. I want her to." Her tears finally fell, dropping onto the exam papers. In that moment, I felt heartbroken to the point of madness. I reached out, pulling her into my arms, holding her tightly, trying to restrain myself. But she still leaned into my chest, softly sobbing. "I don't want to be deceived again. I don't want to be abandoned again." My throat tightened. I gritted my teeth. "Then you remember this. From now on, I'm not going anywhere. You're my wife. I'll protect you for life." She cried harder, her shoulders shaking. But slowly her arms wrapped tightly around me. That night, neither of us slept. She leaned in my arms, telling me so much. She said her ex used sweet words to deceive her, only to betray her in the end, and spread rumors that she was cold, incapable of love. Back then, she nearly broke down. From that point on, she built a thick shell. Better to be cold than give anyone a chance. I listened, my fists clenched, wishing I could drag that bastard out and beat him senseless. But I just held her, repeating in my heart I had to make her believe marriage wasn't pain, it was a safe harbor. As dawn approached, she fell asleep in my arms, her breathing steady, her brows relaxed, as if finally unburdened. I leaned down, gently kissing her forehead. "Wife, from today, just trust me." The next day, she slept, in a rare occurrence, looking at her peaceful, sleeping face. A satisfaction I'd never felt surged in me. This was truly our night of breaking the ice. Not physical intimacy, but a connection of souls. But I knew in my heart, her shell had only cracked a sliver. The real challenge still lay ahead. Morning sunlight streamed through the curtain gap. I rubbed my eyes. The first thing I saw was Hannah Cole curled in my arms, still fast asleep, her long hair spread out, quiet like a little girl. Last night's tears seemed to have washed away all her defenses. My heart melted. I couldn't help but lean down, lightly kissing her forehead. She frowned slightly but didn't wait, just instinctively burrowed deeper into my arms. I smiled, a real sense of fulfillment rising for the first time. Before heading to work, she unexpectedly waited for me in the kitchen. On the table were 2 slices of toast and a glass of milk. She looked shy, turning away, just threw it together. Don't complain. I froze for 2 seconds, teasing, oh, is this the professor's way of confessing? Her face flushed. She raised her hand to hit me, eat or not. I grabbed her hand, grinned, eat. Of course I'll eat every day from now on. She shook my hand off, turned back to the bedroom, her ears bright red. The next few days, I made a point to get off work early, drove to pick her up from school. It was dismissal time. She wore a professional skirt, hair tied high, in high heels radiating elegance. The students saw from afar, whispering, "Wow, Professor Cole's husband came to pick her up. So sweet, I want a boyfriend like that." I stood confidently at the school gate waiting for her. She saw me and paused. Her face instantly cooled. "What are you doing here?" "Picking up my wife from work." I said seriously, "Don't mess around, this is a school." Her voice was cold, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of panic. The students sneaked glances. I deliberately stepped closer, took her hand. "Professor Cole is so beautiful. If I don't come early, what if someone steals my wife?" Her face flushed. She tried to pull her hand away, but with the students watching, she kept a stiff expression. In the car, she glared at me. "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" I played dumb. "I'm just openly picking up my wife. What's wrong with that?" She was so mad she couldn't speak. Turned to look out the window, but I clearly saw her lips curve slightly. Gradually, her changes became more apparent. At dinner, she'd pick food for me. Sometimes when I came home late, she'd save a portion of food for me, even reminding me to reheat it before eating. One day, after grading papers, she unexpectedly handed me a piece of candy. For staying alert, I stared at the candy in my hand, grinning stupidly. She pretended to be cold. "What? Don't want it, give it back." I immediately tore open the wrapper, popping it in my mouth, mumbling, "So sweet." She rolled her eyes, her ears red again, but she still had her reservations. That night, I came out of the shower, wrapped in a towel. She happened to come out of the study. Our eyes met. She froze. Her gaze lingered on me for half a second. Her face flushed. "Can't you dress properly?" I raised an eyebrow. "We're husband and wife." She snapped. "Even husband and wife have boundaries." Threw that line and slammed the bedroom door. I looked at the closed door, chuckling. See, even after breaking the ice, getting into her heart would still take time. A few days later, the school held an academic gala. I went with her. For the first time, I saw her presence in academia. Her words calm and confident, silencing even senior professors. All eyes were on her. I watched, filled with pride. Couldn't help shouting in the crowd, "That's my wife," only to get a sharp glare from her. Back home, she kicked off her heels, exhausted, leaning on the sofa. I walked over, massaging her feet. She flinched, pulling back. "What are you doing?" "Helping you relax. Professor Cole worked hard today." I held her feet, not letting her pull away, gently massaging. She bit her lip, her face and ears red, but she didn't resist anymore. "Hannah Cole," I suddenly called her name. "Don't be afraid of me." She froze. Her eyes wavered. After a moment of silence, she softly hummed in response. My heart stirred. That response meant more than any promise. But as our relationship warmed, an uninvited guest appeared. That day, I went to pick her up from school. Just reaching the parking lot, I saw a man in a suit blocking her path. "Hannah, long time no see." He smiled confidently, his eyes carrying a familiar possessiveness. Hannah Cole's face instantly froze. "I have nothing to say to you." My heart sank. Sure enough, the real challenge had arrived. "Hannah, long time no see." His voice was casual, natural, but carried a self-assured intimacy. I narrowed my eyes, sizing up the man. In his late 30s, wearing a tailored suit, hair meticulously styled, holding a stack of documents, somewhat polished. But that smug smile only made me uncomfortable. Hannah Cole clearly didn't want to engage, coldly saying, "I have nothing to say to you. Please move." But he wouldn't budge, persisting, even blocking her path. "Hannah, is this really how you treat me? Our feelings back then? You just forget like that?" My heart jolted. So this was Hannah's ex-boyfriend. Hannah Cole's face was icy. Victor Lake, don't flatter yourself. I told you long ago we're done. Victor Lake noted the name. I stepped forward, pulled Hannah Cole behind me, my eyes sharp. Sorry. She's my wife now. He froze, then gave a bitter laugh. You're Ethan, right? Exactly. I met his gaze. Some lowlife with a meager paycheck, driving a beat-up car to pick her up. He looked me up and down, his voice dripping with mockery. Hannah, you really want to spend your life with this kind of man? Is he worthy of you? Hannah Cole's face paled. She opened her mouth to speak, but I cut in first. Whether I'm worthy isn't for you to say, I coldly replied. I gripped Hannah Cole's hand tightly. My palm for my wife chose me, so I'm worthy. At those words, Hannah Cole clearly froze, her eyes complex as she looked at me. Victor Lake laughed bitterly. She chose you. Hannah, are you serious? He took a step closer, eyes fixed on her. Why did you agree to marry him back then? Was it out of spite or to avoid me? Hannah Cole's face went pale at the question. She pursed her lips, silent. My heart tightened. I was about to retort, but Victor Lake seized the moment, coldly saying, Hannah, you can't fool yourself. You haven't forgotten me. You've been married to him for how long? Just 2 months? Don't tell me. You two haven't even consummated the marriage. That sentence stabbed into Hannah Cole's heart like a knife. She stopped breathing for a moment. Her cheeks instantly flushed. My heart exploded. Rage shot straight to my head. I lunged forward, grabbing his collar. Eyes sharp. Who the hell are you? Daring to spout nonsense here? Victor Lake wasn't fazed. His lips still curled in a smile, getting worked up. Did I hit a sore spot? Let me tell you, Hannah is mine. All these years she hasn't loved anyone, because she still has me in her heart. You're just a substitute. I couldn't hold back anymore. I threw a punch straight at his face. Victor Lake staggered back, clutching his face. His eyes flashed with malice. You dare hit me? Just one punch. Say another word and it'll ruin you, I growled through gritted teeth. People around started looking, whispering. Hannah Cole's face was pale. She quickly pulled me back. Don't make a scene. This is the school parking lot. I was panting, staring at Victor Lake. He gave a bitter laugh. Wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Hannah, you really think he can give you the life you want? Follow him and you'll regret it for life. When you come to your senses, it'll be waiting. With that, he turned and left. The air thick with tension. I turned to look at Hannah Cole. Her eyes shimmered with complex emotion. She wanted to explain, but only softly said, let's go home. In the car, the atmosphere was heavy. I gripped the steering wheel tightly. Victor Lake's words echoed in my mind. You two haven't even consummated the marriage. I didn't dare look at her expression, afraid to see hesitation in her eyes. Finally, I asked in a low voice, was he really your ex? She was silent for 2 seconds. Softly replied yes, then asked, why did you break up? She stopped breathing for a moment. Her eyes dodged, unwilling to talk. My heart tightened. My fists clenched. I only said, don't mind his words. I won't let anyone insult you like that. She froze, looked up at me, her eyes flickering with emotion. I gritted my teeth, continuing, remember this. For this lifetime I'll protect you. No one can touch you. At those words, the car fell into a brief silence. After a long while, she softly said, you won't regret it. Regret my ass, I snorted. You have a past, so what? That's the past. Now you're mine. Her lips trembled slightly. Her eyes reddened, as if holding back tears. I reached over, gripped her hand tightly. She froze, but didn't pull away. Back home, she sat on the sofa silent for a long time. I poured a glass of water, handing it to her. Don't think about it. He's just a sewer rat. She looked at me, her voice soft. You don't understand. I understand. I cut her off. You're afraid he'll ruin your life. But rest assured, with me here, what can he do? Her eyes reddened. She softly said, thank you. My heart ached. I pulled her into my arms. Silly, why thank me? Her body stiffened slightly, but she didn't push me away. In that moment, I realized Victor Lake's appearance didn't shake our relationship, but instead brought us closer together. And this was just the beginning. After that night, Hannah Cole's state was clearly off. During the day, she maintained her cold professor facade. On the lecture podium, confident and calm. But at home, she was like a lost soul, quiet and withdrawn. It pained me to see her like this. Victor Lake's appearance didn't just stir old memories. It tore open the scars in her heart. But she said nothing. A few days later after work, I deliberately went to school early to pick her up. I caught her talking with another teacher in the office. I didn't interrupt right away, just waited outside. By chance, I overheard the other teacher sigh, "Hannah, you really shouldn't be soft-hearted. That bastard Victor Lake, daring to come back and bother you." Hannah Cole's voice was faint. "I'm not soft-hearted. I just don't want him to ruin my life again." "He hurt you enough," the teacher said indignantly. "If it weren't for him, you wouldn't be so afraid of men now." My heart jolted. So that was it. The truth lay here. On the way home, I stayed silent. Hannah Cole noticed. Softly asked, "Why aren't you talking today?" I looked at her. Bluntly asked, "What did he do to you back then?" She clearly froze, her fingers gripping her knees. She didn't answer for a long time, until the car stopped at our complex. She took a deep breath. Her voice faint, almost fading. "You really want to know?" I nodded, my gaze firm. She lowered her eyes, as if holding back for a long time before speaking. He betrayed me to short words, but they hit my heart like a hammer. Hannah Cole forced a smile, a bitter smile. Back then, I was foolish enough to believe him, even thought about marriage. But he was messing around with my best friend, and turned around to blame me for being cold. Said I lacked femininity, not fit to be a good wife. I felt blood rushing to my head, and then my voice tense. Her eyes reddened. Her fingers gripped the seat tightly. Then he even said in front of me, "A woman like me, besides being a professor, acting lofty on the podium, is just trash in bed." Her voice grew shakier, as if an old wound was being torn open. Tears finally couldn't be held back, streaming down her cheeks. My chest ached. So that's why she feared intimacy. That's why in 2 months of marriage, she didn't let me touch her. Because she'd been humiliated like that. I didn't say anything, just pulled her tightly into my arms. She struggled briefly, but finally couldn't hold back, curled into my chest, crying until her shoulders shook. I whispered in her ear, "Don't be afraid. Hannah, everything he said was nonsense. He's not worthy of judging you. To me, you're the most wonderful woman in the world." She cried harder. Her voice choked. "You don't understand. That humiliation is like a nightmare that keeps haunting me." I clenched my fists, swearing to myself I had to help her escape this shadow. The next few days, I arranged a short trip, said it was to relax from work stress, but really I wanted her to let go of her burdens. In a mountain town, we strolled through the night market. She for once took my hand, our fingers intertwined. In that moment, I saw the gentleness in her eyes. I understood she wasn't unwilling to be close to me. She was just trapped by her past. That night, it suddenly poured. In the hotel, the rain pounded outside. A power outage plunged the room into darkness. I lit a candle, saw her curled up in the corner of the bed, her face pale. "Hannah, afraid of the dark?" I softly asked. She didn't answer, just pursed her lips, her eyes wavering. I walked over, sitting beside her, put my arm around her shoulders. "Don't be afraid, lean on me." She trembled, finally looked up at me, her eyes teary, her voice choked. "Ethan, if one day I can't let go, what will you do? Will you get tired of me?" My heart tightened. I said firmly, "No way. Listen clearly. I'll never get tired of you. Even if you can't let go for life, I'll stay by your side." She froze. Tears streamed down her face. The next moment, she threw herself into my arms, sobbing, "Why are you so good to me?" My throat tightened. I softly said, "Because you're my wife. Because I love you." The air seemed to freeze. She looked at me stunned, tears rolling down her cheeks. The next moment, she kissed me. With sobs, with longing, with the courage to finally let go of her defenses. That night outside, the storm raged. Inside, a fire burned. She finally gave herself to me completely. Amid tears and trembling, she softly said, "If I'd known you were this good, I wouldn't have wasted 2 months." I held her tightly, one thought in my mind. In this moment, I finally saved her, and fully won her. After that night, our relationship went from ice to fire. The next morning, she woke curled in my arms, her long hair spread out, her skin white as snow. No longer the cold professor, but a little girl who'd found her anchor. I couldn't help but smile, reached out lightly touching her face. She opened her eyes dreamily, saw me, her ears instantly red. "What are you looking at?" she softly asked. I grinned wickedly. "The most beautiful wife in the world." She glared at me, turned away, but couldn't hide the smile at the corner of her mouth. From that day, our relationship changed completely. She was no longer cold and distant, but became a gentle, warm wife. I knew our journey was still long. From that day, our marriage truly entered husband and wife mode. Hannah, she woke up earlier than me, busy in the kitchen. When I came downstairs, she was wearing a house dress, an apron, quietly frying eggs. I hugged her waist, whispered in her ear, "My professor wife is so capable." She pushed me. "Smells like oil, don't hug me." Her mouth complained, but her hands didn't push me away. For breakfast, she made me fried eggs, even added a sausage. I teased, "Is this the dish of love?" She glared, "Eat or not?" "Don't eat, you'll feed it to the dog." I immediately dove in, devouring it. Wife's cooking is the best. She couldn't help it. Her lips curved slightly, but amid the sweetness, we couldn't avoid small conflicts. Once I went to pick her up from work, saw a few male students surrounding her, helping her carry things. Very enthusiastic. My eyes twitched. I strode over, took all the books. One arm around her shoulders, "I'll take it." The students froze. "Professor Cole, this is," I smiled casually, "her husband." The students were stunned. "Oh my God, Professor Cole is married." Their eyes clearly showed disappointment. I felt smug, deliberately in front of them, gently ruffled her hair. Her face went cold. Back home, she pinched me hard. "What were you playing at in front of my students?" I winced. I was openly staking my claim, preventing others from eyeing my wife. She glared at me, but didn't argue, her ears bright red. The most memorable time was when she got jealous. My company had a new colleague, young, lively. That day, after working late, she walked me to the elevator. As I stepped out, I ran into Hannah waiting for me. The colleague smiled, "Mr. Ethan, next time we work together, I'll rely on your guidance." Hannah Cole's face instantly froze. She turned away without a word. Back home, she hadn't even changed her shoes. Sat down on the living room sofa. Coldly said, "You enjoyed that, didn't you?" I blinked. "Enjoy what?" She glared. She was smiling so brightly. "And you were chatting so happily. Do you like that type of girl?" I nearly burst out laughing. "Wife, are you jealous?" She flinched, her ears red. Turned to leave. I pulled her into my arms, grinned wickedly. "So the professor knows how to be jealous." "Let go," she struggled. I didn't let go. Whispered in her ear, "Rest assured, my eyes only see you as a woman." She froze, her breathing quick. After a long pause, she mumbled nonsense, but I felt her body soften. The days grew sweeter. Sometimes at the supermarket, she'd walk ahead with a cold face, but in the cart, there'd always be snacks I snuck in. When I noticed, I teased, "Wife, sneaking care for me." She blushed, sternly saying, "Don't be conceited." But at checkout, the snacks were still there. Evenings cooking together. She chopped vegetables, I stir-fried. The kitchen warm with steam. I seized the chance to hug her from behind, my hands over hers holding the knife. She flinched. "What are you doing?" "Careful, you'll cut your hand." I laughed. "Husband and wife teamwork is more efficient." She called me childish, but we worked seamlessly, making a full table. She fed me a bite. I took it, pretending to grimace, a bit salty. She glared, "Don't like it, don't eat." I quickly grinned, "I like it salty. Makes the meal tastier." She was satisfied, lifted her chin proudly, then "Eat more." Sweet happiness couldn't avoid neighborly gossip. One night we got carried away at home. The next morning, stepping out, the neighbor lady gave me a knowing look. Coughed deliberately, "Young people, be mindful. This building's walls aren't thick." Hannah Cole's face flushed to her neck. Back home, she chased me, hitting me. "All your fault," I laughed, running around the house. "Clearly, your voice was too loud." She lunged, covering my mouth. "Say one more word and I'll fight you." I pinned her to the sofa, grinning wickedly. "Come on then. I'm ready to take you on." The little moments in life made her gradually let go of all her defenses. The professor, once cold and distant, now in front of me, could act coy, get mad, be jealous, and smile like a little girl. I knew she'd finally given me her whole heart, and I poured all my effort into loving and protecting her, because she was the woman I chose for life. The happy days passed in a flash. I thought would stay peaceful like this forever, until that person appeared again. Friday afternoon, I went to pick up Hannah Cole from work. Arriving at the school gate, I sensed something off. A few students were gathered, holding phones whispering true or fake. Professor Cole's love life is so dramatic. Look, rumors say she was dumped and kept by someone. No way Professor Cole's so cold. My heart jolted. I strode into the campus, only to see at the lecture building's bulletin board, someone had secretly pasted a series of printed screenshots of rumors, with a few blurry, candid photos and distorted descriptions. The words vicious, almost nailing Hannah Cole to a pillar of shame. She stood before the crowd, her face cold as ice, her eyes red. Rage exploded in me. Who did this? I roared, stepped forward, tearing down all the papers. The students flinched, quickly scattered. Hannah Cole tried to stop me. Don't. I pulled her into my arms, coldly said, wife, with me here no one can touch you. But things weren't that simple. That night back home, her phone kept buzzing. An anonymous post appeared online. The title glaring: a certain university professor's messy private life, questionable marriage. Opening it, it was written as if true, even dragging up that we hadn't consummated our marriage in 2 months. Clearly someone was digging into her private life, trying to utterly destroy her. Her face went pale, her fingers trembling as she scrolled. I grabbed the phone, coldly said, don't look. But the students will see this. The school leaders will see it too. Her voice trembled. I gripped her hand tightly. Trust me, it's all fake. I won't let you face this alone. She looked at me, her eyes full of helplessness. My heart ached. The next day, I found the culprit. It was her ex, Victor Lake. Somehow had dug up details of our marriage and used it to spread exaggerated rumors. I met him at a cafe. He still had that smug demeanor. Ethan, are you worthy of Hannah? She's a professor. You're just an ordinary guy. Your marriage is a joke. End it early. She and I are the perfect match. I laughed coldly. Worthy. What you did to her back then I know better than anyone. His face changed. Then he smirked. So what? The school and society won't easily forgive a woman with a stain. Rest assured, even if she doesn't come back to me, it'll ruin her. My fists clenched. I nearly punched him, but I held back. I knew beating him was the most useless approach. What I needed was to dismantle his scheme completely. A few days later, the school held an emergency meeting. Some teachers and student reps demanded an investigation into Hannah Cole's moral conduct. The pressure of public opinion nearly suffocated her. I held her hand, softly said, leave it to me. Under everyone's gaze, I stood up, my voice resounding. Ethan, Hannah Cole's husband. Those rumors are all fake. She's a dedicated teacher, a pure and upright woman. Her only mistake was being blind, meeting someone not worth meeting. But she's not wrong, and doesn't deserve to be slandered. I declare here she's my only wife. For this lifetime I want change. The hall erupted. Hannah Cole froze in place, her eyes instantly red. After the meeting, the school didn't reach a conclusion right away. But public opinion clearly shifted. Many students stood by Hannah Cole, leaving messages online to support her. Professor Cole is the most dedicated professor we've ever met. She can't be that kind of person. The rumor monger is despicable. The pressure gradually eased, and the way she looked at me, for the first time, carried complete reliance. That night she hugged me. Her voice choked. Ethan, why are you willing to go this far for me? I stroked her hair, softly replied, because you are my wife. Protecting you is my duty. Her tears spilled out. Sobbing, she kissed me deeply. A few days later, her ex's identity and actions were exposed. Public opinion flipped. He was utterly disgraced. The storm finally settled. We sat on the balcony. She leaned on my shoulder, softly saying, Ethan, I thought I'd lose everything. I gripped her hand tightly. You won't lose me. She was silent for a while, looked up at me seriously. Then, can we redo our wedding? I froze, then laughed loudly. Yes. I want the whole world to know You're my wife, Ethan's wife. In the gentle night, she smiled in my arms, tears in her eyes. I knew this was our true beginning.